Okay, Craigslist. Here is my 2007 Kawasaki ZZR600. I've had it for about 11,500 miles. I bought it, not new, bought it new to me at 14,000 miles from, I think, the second owner. It was originally purchased up in Simi Valley. I've got the original owner's manual, service manual, 2 keys, kind of the maintenance logs from the original guy that owned it, and then all the receipts for all the work that I've had done. So right after I bought it, shortly thereafter, I had a major service done at ADR Motorsports. They're now out of business, but there's a guy named Irvin that works in the valley here that did that. And you can see the ad for more details about that. I put on a new set of Pilot Power 3s at that time. I put on a couple more since then. That's what I've been running, the Pilot Power 3. I don't know if it's a good tire or not, but it's been working fine for me. Okay, a couple things that I wanted to show on the video that are tougher to see in the pictures. So I referenced some stuff about the exhaust here, and it's a little tough to see in this light, but there's basically one scratch that runs right along there. There's a couple really minor scratches on that housing there, another scratch there, and a missing rivet, and then a dimple there. So I think at some point the bike must have been tipped over on the right-hand side. I noticed here it's missing a fairing bolt there, so I'll have to throw one in. Strike that. I have taken this fairing off once, but I can't remember if it had the bolt in there at that time. At any rate, reason I'm showing you this here, there is one scrape there and one little ding there, so that leads, I think, one right there too. So it leads me to believe at some point the bike has been tipped over on the right, but these appear to be the original fairings. It's the original windscreen, original everything, handlebars, so I don't think it was ever actually dropped at any sort of speed or crashed on either side, but it's been tipped over on the right, I'm pretty sure. I know it's been tipped over on the left, and I actually had that happen when the bike was fairly new to me. I didn't put down the kickstand far enough, and the result of that was some minor scratching here on the frame slider. That caught most of it, but a couple little ding there, a couple tiny scratches there, right there, and right there, but overall really minor stuff. And then you can see the stator cover got rashed a little bit there. Aside from that, the only real damage was to this thing, which I replaced the plastic lens, and it's been in good shape since then. You'll see overall the bike is really clean. The wheels are a little dirty right now. I could probably try to clean those up a little more here before I sell it or have anybody see it. The chain, real clean. I'm really fastidious about chain maintenance. I clean that more often than I should because I really like a clean chain. That's a gold arcade chain. The specs for it are listed in the ad. It's a Sunstar rear sprocket, I think a JT front sprocket, down one tooth in the front, up two in the rear for kind of pompier acceleration there. And Sunstar and JT are OEM manufacturers. Those are steel, so they're not really going to wear out. And just take a look at them when you get here. Chain and everything is in good shape. Okay, so I had Gemini Motorsports in Chatsworth do the sprocket front and rear chain replacement. I also had them install a speedo healer just right there under the seat. It's a 12 o'clock Labs DRD speedo healer. I calibrated that so it's reading basically down 1 mile an hour at about 45. And if you come see the bike and take it out, there's a couple speed cameras near me where you can verify that, but it's reading pretty accurately. Tank, real nice shape, no issues, no dents, no gouges. A little hard to see in this light here, but it looks great. It's one little smudge there I'll have to clean up. But overall, it's a 2007 bike, 9 years old, 10 years old. It's very clean. And okay, so a couple things I've done to it. I told you about the chain. The previous owner did the exhaust. There is one thing about the exhaust that I've looked into. It had a low, kind of a low volume insert that comes with it from the factory that bolts in there with 2 screws. At one point I noticed that one of the screws was a little loose and it was rattling, and I was going to replace that, and the other one was gone completely, and then before I could fix it, it fell out. I talked to Yoshimura this past week, and it's an RS3 INS-K. It's $30 including shipping, and then just 2 bolts puts it right back in. It's a little louder without it, pops a little bit more when you're decelerating, but you know, I like it. It sounds nice. If you wanted to put it back in there, it's $30 and probably 5 minutes worth of install. So there's that. One thing that was a little more than 5 minutes worth of install was the gauge. So you can see here, this is not the stock gauge. That's from a 2006 ZZR600. I've got other videos in the ad that talk about that. But let me just start up the bike here while I've got the video running. Okay, shift it. Okay. Alright, so one thing you can see here, it says it has 35, 411. It really doesn't. The mileage is not that high per meter time. Alright, so I don't want to rev it real high if it's not actually in gear. But yeah, so the gauge I put on, it's really easy to take it off if you really didn't like that. I still have the stock gauge. I changed it at 19,870 miles. You'll see in some of the videos I talk about the mileage, and I'm misstating it. It's actually, I think, 98,855 low or something, but I said it was 10,100. I hadn't really done the math at the time. That was just kind of as I was making it. But if you wanted to change the gauge, all you got to do is take off the windscreen, which is real easy. Take off 2 bolts, 2 wing nut bolts that I have holding that thing on. That's basically all you need to do to remove that, and then small screwdrivers can feed in right from the back here. You don't need to take off the whole front fascia or anything like that. It's just the windscreen, 2 bolts holding in that bracket, and then the two screws holding in that thing, the gauge, and then 1 screw after that. Undo the wire coupling, and you're there. So easy to change out. I never changed it back because I didn't want to, but you know, if you really don't like them, change it back. I don't care. So that's basically it. If you have any questions about the bike, call me. If you want to come by and ride it, that's fine. I'm just going to need to have cash in my hand in case you don't come back or in case you dump it. But aside from that, that's the bike. So come check it out, and yep. All right, have a good day.